A frozen dawn, a forest wrapped in silence, then thunder. On December 16, 1944, three German armies burst from the mist, striking the unsuspecting Allied lines in the Ardennes. For one brutal month, Europe held its breath as Hitler's crumbling empire gambled everything on one last impossible victory. It was a storm born of desperation, courage, and illusion. But could it ever have changed the course of the war? You are watching WWII, where history speaks. December 1944. The Ardennes sleeps beneath snow and silence. American soldiers call it a quiet sector, a place to rest before Christmas. Fires flicker, letters are written home, and no one imagines the woods are hiding an army. Across the line, that same silence hums with engines. In darkness, convoys crawl through frozen valleys. Orders whispered, headlights blacked out, tanks hidden beneath pine branches. More than 200,000 Germans wait for one last chance to change the war. The weather has grounded Allied aircraft. To Hitler, it feels like destiny itself has cleared the skies for revenge. His plan, reckless yet grand, is to strike through these very forests, cross the Meuse, seize Antwerp, and split the Allied armies in two. Fuel is scarce, troops are young and half-trained, but faith in a miracle burns hotter than reason. Before dawn on December 16th, the stillness shatters. Thousands of German guns roar as one. Trees explode, trenches vanish, and American lines crumble in confusion. The quiet front becomes chaos. The snow itself seems to scream. Radios buzz with disbelief. The Germans are attacking everywhere. In that frozen dawn, the world learns that the war in Europe isn't over. It's about to ignite once more. A storm has risen in the Ardennes, a storm without wings. Inside Hitler's command bunker, hope has turned into obsession. By the winter of 1944, the Reich is collapsing, cities in ruins, fuel nearly gone, armies retreating on every front. But in Hitler's mind, there is still one card left to play. He believes the West can be split apart, that if his forces strike hard enough, the Allies will break and turn on each other. He calls it his Wunderangriff, the miracle offensive. His generals know it's madness. They've seen the fuel reports, the broken divisions, the boys in uniform who should still be in school. Yet no one dares to say no. The plan takes shape quickly, too quickly. It's drawn across the forests of the Ardennes, the same route Germany used in 1940 to crush France. Hitler imagines history repeating itself, only this time saving him from defeat. Three armies will smash through the fog, cross the Meuse, and race to Antwerp. The Allies, cut in half, will sue for peace. But the miracle depends on weather and luck. If the clouds clear, Allied planes will return, and the dream will die in flames. Still, Hitler presses on. To his commanders, he doesn't speak of strategy anymore, only destiny. And so, with trembling hands and blind faith, Germany prepares to roll the dice one last time. Before dawn, on December 16, 1944, the Ardennes trembles. A low rumble rolls through the fog, not thunder, but artillery. Then, all at once, the forest erupts. Thousands of German guns open fire, pounding American positions that never saw it coming. The ground shakes, the air burns, and a quiet front turns into hell. American soldiers stumble from their bunkers, dazed and deafened. Communication lines are cut, radios silenced, commanders lost in chaos. For a few long minutes, no one understands what's happening until German infantry bursts through the smoke, screaming as they charge. One U.S. soldier later said, "It sounded like the whole forest was alive, coming straight for us." Tanks grind forward behind them, engines snarling, crushing the frozen ground. Some roads are so narrow that vehicles jam for miles, yet the assault keeps pushing. The first American outposts vanish within hours. In the confusion, rumors spread paratroopers in disguise captured tanks, enemy saboteurs in U.S. uniforms. Panic ripples through the ranks. By noon, the scale of the attack becomes clear. This isn't a raid, it's a full invasion. The front bends, bulges, and threatens to break. The Allies had believed Germany was beaten, but in the forests of Belgium, the war has found new life, fierce, frantic, and unstoppable. As the sun rises over the Ardennes, the scale of the attack unfolds. German armor floods through the fog, columns of tanks snaking along narrow forest roads. In the north, they strike the U.S. lines at Elsenborn Ridge, but there, American artillery holds firm, pounding the attackers until the snow itself seems to burn. Further south, the story is different. Von Manteuffel's armored divisions punch through thin defenses, scattering American units that were never meant to face a full assault. Entire companies vanish into the woods, cut off and surrounded. The German advance surges forward, leaving villages in flames and roads littered with wreckage. But among the disciplined ranks, something darker moves. The SS commander Joachim Peiper drives his tanks with ruthless speed and no mercy. His men execute prisoners, shoot civilians, and leave the snow-stained red. At a crossroads near Malmedy, nearly 100 captured American soldiers are massacred. It is not war, it is vengeance, born of fanatic rage. Word spreads quickly among Allied lines. No prisoners, some whisper. Fight to the last. The tone of the battle changes. It is no longer just a clash of armies, but of fury and survival. The German advance seems unstoppable, but every mile gained comes at a cost that cannot be paid again. At the heart of Belgium lies Bastogne, a small, snow-covered town with 7 roads branching out like veins across the Ardennes. Whoever controls Bastogne controls the flow of the war, and in December 1944, both sides know it. As German armor surges westward, Bastogne becomes their key objective. Seize it, and they can drive to the Meuse. Lose it, and their offensive collapses. The town is soon encircled, 15,000 American troops trapped inside, outnumbered and freezing, with little food, no air support, and dwindling ammunition. The defenders are led by the 101st Airborne Division men, who fought in Normandy and Holland, now digging foxholes in the frozen earth. Shells crash day and night. Wounded soldiers are carried to basements, turned into hospitals. Supplies run so low that men strip ammunition from the dead. Yet no one talks of surrender. On December 22nd, the Germans send an ultimatum demanding the Americans give up. Brigadier General Anthony McAuliffe reads it, laughs, and scrawls his one-word reply, nuts. The message passes through the ranks like fire through frost. Spirits rise. Bastogne will not fall. Outside the walls, German forces grind their teeth in frustration. Inside, surrounded and starving, the paratroopers hold firm. The snow keeps falling, and Bastogne becomes a symbol of defiance carved in ice and blood. When the sky returns, for days, the Ardennes has been wrapped in fog, thick, gray, suffocating. Allied aircraft, the great equalizer of the war, are grounded. The men in Bastogne fight blind and alone. Their only cover the snow and the smoke. Then, on December 23rd, the sky opens. The fog lifts like a curtain torn apart by sunlight. Allied fighter bombers roar back into the heavens, the sound echoing through the valleys like vengeance. P-47 Thunderbolts dive on German convoys, strafing tanks, trucks, and fuel depots. The air belongs to the Allies again, and with it, the momentum. Above Bastogne, Douglas C-47 Spear, flying low through flak and fire. Parachutes bloom across the sky, dropping ammunition, food, and medicine to the trapped 101st. Men cheer as crates crash into the snow, hope delivered by air. For the first time in a week, the defenders can breathe. On the ground, the German advance falters. Supply lines stretch thin, fuel runs dry, and broken bridges choke their armor. Without air cover, their movements become death marches under open skies. Every explosion, every burning convoy erases a piece of Hitler's dream. What began as Germany's last gamble is turning into its slow undoing. The weather that once hid them now reveals them, and from above, the storm has finally found its wings. The counterstrike. By Christmas Eve, the German advance has lost its momentum. Fuel is gone, supply lines shattered, and Allied air power rules the skies once more. But the fight is far from over. Across the frozen front, the Allies prepare to strike back. In the north, British Field Marshal Bernard Montgomery takes control of the shattered American units facing the spearhead of the German attack. Calm and cautious, he steadies the line and waits for the moment to hit back. In the south, General George S. Patton moves like lightning. His Third Army, already fighting elsewhere, turns north, an entire corps pivoting in just 48 hours. It's one of the fastest and boldest maneuvers of the war. On December 26, Patton's tanks break through the ice and snow, smashing into German positions around Bastogne. The encircled 101st Airborne finally sees the silhouettes of Shermans rolling through the smoke. Relief has come. The men cheer, exhausted but unbroken. Now the Allies begin to squeeze the Bulge from both sides. sides. German resistance is fierce, but every counterattack costs them men and machines they can't replace. Villages change hands, burned and bombed beyond recognition. By mid-January, the Bulge begins to collapse. The hunter has become the hunted, and Hitler's last great gamble is unraveling beneath the weight of its own ambition. The last flight, New Year's Day, 1945. As dawn breaks over a battered Europe, the Luftwaffe rises one final time. From airfields across western Germany, nearly 1,000 planes thunder into the cold morning sky. The mission is called Operation Bodenplatte, a desperate strike meant to destroy Allied air power in a single, stunning blow. German pilots, many barely trained, are told it will turn the tide. They fly low over frosted treetops, engines screaming, hearts pounding. To soldiers on the ground, it looks like the old days, the sky filled with black crosses once again. For a brief moment, hope flickers in a dying empire, but the dream lasts minutes. Confusion reigns, navigation errors send planes off course. Some are shot down by their own flak batteries, others by the very Allied fighters they hope to destroy. Runways become graveyards of burning metal. When the smoke clears, more than 300 German aircraft are gone. Irreplaceable losses for a Luftwaffe already gasping for breath. The Allies lose planes too, but they can rebuild. Germany cannot. For the men who limp home in shattered cockpits, there will be no next time. Operation Bodenplatte is not a revival, it is a requiem. The Reich's wings have broken. From this sky, it will never rise again. Was it ever possible? In the aftermath of the Ardennes, one question lingers. Was it ever possible? Could Germany truly have won? Historians still debate it, but the facts speak louder than theory. The offensive was doomed from the beginning. The Wehrmacht that once stormed Europe was now a hollow echo of itself, starved of fuel, crippled by Allied bombing, and filled with boys and old men fighting out of duty, not hope. Its strength was no longer in its weapons, but in the illusions of those who still believed. Even before the first shot, German planners ignored reality. Their tanks had fuel for barely 50 kilometers, yet the plan demanded they drive 200. They dreamed of capturing Allied supply depots, but never explained how half-frozen troops would find them in the chaos. Secrecy, paranoia, and blind loyalty replaced logic. Hitler trusted the weather, not his generals. He trusted destiny more than logistics. He gave his best units to the SS, not to experienced field commanders, turning strategy into theater. And even if they had reached the Meuse, even if Antwerp had fallen, the Allies had more planes, more fuel, more men waiting behind them, ready to crush any fleeting victory. The Ardennes offensive was not a masterstroke. It was an act of denial, the final illusion of control by a man who could no longer face defeat. In truth, Germany's last gamble wasn't about winning, it was about refusing to admit the war was already lost. A final scream against the silence of inevitable surrender. Echoes in the snow. By the end of January 1945, the Ardennes lay in ruin. Villages once alive with laughter were now shells of stone and smoke. Forests were shredded by shell fire, their snow soaked with oil and blood. The Bulge that had threatened to break the Allies was gone, flattened beneath the weight of Germany's last dream. The cost was staggering. Nearly 100,000 Germans lost dead, wounded, or captured. Tens of thousands of Americans killed or frozen in the snow. Belgian and Luxembourg families caught in between. Their homes burned, their loved ones vanished. The winter had no mercy for soldier or civilian alike. As Allied troops pushed east again, they found the wreckage of an empire that had gambled itself to death. Tanks abandoned for lack of fuel. Soldiers surrendering without bullets to fire. The air smelled of smoke and frost, of endings. Those who survived the Ardennes carried the memory of it forever. The cold, the silence, and the faces of friends who never rose again. For Germany, the battle's end marked the beginning of its collapse. For the Allies, it was the final test before the long road to the Rhine and to Berlin. But for those who fought and fell here, the Ardennes would never fade. Only the wind and the snow remember their names now. And in that frozen silence, history still speaks softly, but forever. The Battle of the Bulge was not just a clash of armies. It was the last heartbeat of a dying empire, a desperate desperate gamble born from pride, carried by courage, and buried beneath snow. When the smoke cleared, the world saw what happens when belief outruns reality, when loyalty to one man outweighs the truth. Yet, in that frozen horror, there was also resilience, soldiers who refused to yield, civilians who endured, and humanity that somehow survived the storm. The Ardennes would mark the end of Germany's hope for victory and the beginning of Europe's long return to peace, but the echoes of that winter still whisper through the pines, reminding us that even the coldest silence can carry the voices of the past. Because history is not just about what happened, it's about what it meant to those who lived it, and to those who remember. You've been watching WWII, where history speaks. If you felt the weight of this story, if you believe history should be told with heart, not just dates, then don't let it fade. Like, comment, and subscribe to help keep these voices alive, because every echo of the past deserves to be heard.